Okay. Hi, Sophia. How are you doing today?
Um, I don't think I'm doing too well.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that. What's going on?
So I was just kind of thinking back about this event that happened to me, or not event, the situation that occurred, and I had a really hard time processing it.
Yeah. Can you tell me more about the situation?
Yeah, so I had just gone out. I think it was like a Sunday too, and I'd gone out with my husband and our kids, and I was at a gas station and we were putting gas in the car. And this white lady came and she was also putting gas in her car, and she looked over and she saw my kids and she's like, "Oh, you have really well behaved." I think she even said well behaved Black kids. And I kind of was like, "Oh, thanks." And then she showed me to her car and she had, I think, like two little kids in there. And she was like, I'll pay you to watch my kids. But I didn't need a job. I wasn't looking for a job. And I looked at her car and there was like these two little kids, like they were misbehaving in the car. And at first I was like, no thanks. And she was like, you don't understand. Like, I'm the mayor's wife and I can pay you really well and you won't have to worry about anything. And I got upset with her and I said no. And I was getting frustrated. And then I like ended up getting arrested. Like I got arrested because I didn't want to take care of her kids. And Joe was really bad. It was really, really bad. They wouldn't feed me. I was in the cell by myself. It was dark. I only got one visitor and she'd come every day and she would feed me and I couldn't even eat. I they would beat me and I I just keep thinking about my time in prison and it was really hard.
Thank you for sharing that with me. That sounds like quite a difficult thing to go through. And I can obviously see right now that even talking about it is a pretty hard experience for you.
Yeah, it was they finally let me out. I don't even know how long I was there. If it felt like forever, it felt like all of my life. And I had no energy. I wouldn't talk. I barely even got dressed. I couldn't, yeah, I couldn't do anything. I almost felt defeated.
If you're comfortable with it, I'd really love to dive into kind of that initiating event. When you were conversing with that woman, the mayor's wife, I think you said,
Mhm,
and at first you said, no, thank you. And
mhm.
then she pushed you. What kind of thoughts brought up that anger for you?
Entitlement. Like she was almost like, why? She even told me, she's like, why would you pass up on this job that I'm offering you? Like, and I think at one point I even swore at her and I said like no fucking thank you. And she got upset and the police came. They arrested me in front of my kids and the officers beat me. And it was so bad. I just yelled at my husband and I told him, cover my baby's eyes, because I didn't want them to see what it meant to be a Black person dealing with the police and the fact that they thought I was, I don't know, like they didn't ask what happened, nothing. They just proceeded to arrest me. And then I was fighting back because I'm like, what are you guys doing? And I tried to get them off of me, but it was two officers and I couldn't. And when they saw that I was fighting back, they got the baton, I think that's what you call it, and they like hit me with it. And I was just devastated and I was crying and I didn't want my kids to see what it meant.
What does it mean?
I think it means that we are not protected in the same way that white people are.
Sorry about that. It's okay. Yeah, that's a big thing to see that and to try to protect it, protect your children from it.
Yeah.
Living in that kind of world where you have to accept the fact that your safety is maybe not valued as much as the people who hold the power to give you safety must be very disarming for you in a way.
Yeah, it was disarming. Before that, I was really joyful and cheerful, and I was, I don't know, I felt like I was someone who people wanted to be around.
Yeah.
And then after that whole event, I wasn't me anymore.
Yeah. And as you said before, you were you. When you went through that experience and you came out the other side, less of you, how does that come together with the expect of what society looks like for you?
Yeah, I think they just expect me to be okay with it. It's, I think it's almost normal.
Yeah.
Because no one else was doing anything to stop it. And I mean, my husband knew he couldn't do anything because if he did, he would have been arrested as well. And then who was going to take care of our kids? And yeah, it was really hard.
That's a scary thought. And I'd like to highlight that not only are you worried about yourself existing in this society, but you see the contingencies that are placed on you and your kids and your husband living under this. And like you said, like they expect you to kind of, it's a normal thing there. Do you feel like it is normal though?
I do. I've seen other women go through this, other men, and no one does anything.
And you kind of brought up before, if someone was to do something, maybe they would experience the event that you went through as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it depends on who would do something. I think if it was another, person of color, absolutely, they would arrest us both.
Mm.
I think the only thing that, I think the only reason they let me leave jail was because I ended up agreeing to take care of the kids. And if I wouldn't have finally agreed, would they have ever let me go? Like, would I have died in jail?
Yeah. That is a big thought to have. That's a hard one to work through as well. I think it's really big that you acknowledge that you have acknowledged that there is an expectation that's placed on you and that it's not the same one that everybody else has, right? The white woman who forced you to essentially be her nanny. No one's going to do that to her, are they?
Yeah.
Right. And before, like you said, you were happy and you were joyful. We were still existing under the society. What helped you kind of battle that feeling? Or did you feel that before?
Maybe when I was younger, I went through a lot of abuse.
Yeah.
As a child and then later as a young adult. And I think what finally made me feel that joy and be me is when I decided to stop accepting it and stop taking it. And I fought back. And when I fought back, the abuse at some point stopped. And that's when I felt like I can be me.
And in this situation now that you've tried to fight back, it didn't work out.
No, it didn't.
That is a very hard thing to chew on.
Yeah.
And you said you have other people who live in this world with you that are Black people who have to live under this too. How do they survive this?
I don't think we don't. I think, I don't know. I think we try to find joy in the small things. I don't know, like one of my friends, her son has like a bar brothel type thing,
Yeah.
and we go there and we sing and we dance and we drink. And I think that's our way of trying to escape from the reality of we can't live.
Yeah. And I think it serves that purpose. Do you think it serves a purpose of community as well?
I think it does. I think it does because there are some, bars or, whatever you want to call them, who won't serve people who look like me. And so the fact that someone, you know, who is also a person of color created this and is welcoming us in, yeah, I think it does bring that sense of community.
And I think what you've highlighted as well is that if they won't let us in, we'll create a space for ourselves.
Yeah,
That's powerful.
yeah.
And I'd love the next time we meet for us to kind of dive in a way of how can we create a space again for you that makes you feel powerful.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you so much for meeting for me today.
Yeah, thank you so much.